A shout out in advance to this horror film Pontypool goes to Mad Sam's Multiverse of Madness. Mad Sam has been a great help and a good companion in this journey of building a YouTube channel, has stumped me on some movie trivia, which is hard to do, and has taken my recommendations on a film that I thought he would like. Sam, this one's for you. Welcome to part 1 of Balefire's spoiler-heavy review of the Canadian horror film Pontypool. Enjoy.
When do you call 911? Think about it.
Signal was just up this normally busy highway, beyond the roadblock that prevents us from getting any closer, sits the normally quiet town of Pontypool, the scene of today's Valentine's Day massacre.
That's what I was, a loony. This whole pattern in my head is off.
Good morning, Pontypool. This is Radio 660, The Beacon. Down here in the dungeon, under the street they call Drum. It appears to be a protest of some kind, and officials are describing the crowd as unruly.
Grant, I'm watching literally hundreds of people packed in and around this building. Oh!
What's happening, Ken?
This building is just burst outward. It's spilling people. It just kind of exploded. Oh, Jesus! These people are getting killed down there. Oh!
Ken, do you see any police? Is anybody trying to restore order, down there?
There's definitely fatalities here. People have just died, Grant. I don't know what the hell has just happened.
Ken, are you there, Ken?
Okay, we've got nothing on this
We've
Grant.
got to get some information on what is clearly happening.
Christ, this is 5 kilometers
Not more
from
than
here.
5 kilometers from the station itself.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much, my friend. What a great movie.
Man, well, you're the one who introduced me to this movie ages ago.
2009 it is.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
It's the Nokia phone.
So what?
The Nokia phone.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Those old flip phones are making a comeback.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Mrs. French.
Yes, Pontypool 2009, and I believe I ended up finding it off of some maybe like a Watch Mojo type list, a top 10 of movies done in a one-room type scenario. And other films in that genre would be something like Cube or Cabin in the Woods, I think is another one that they kind of referenced. Sure. Although that was expansive.
I've always been a big fan of movies that can do that. If you can pull off, maybe if not one room, but minimalistic set.
And actors. Like, how many actors do we have there? I think it's 4 under the database where there's just the 4 main.
Yeah, that's pretty much. You got the Doctor, you have Laurel Ann, Sidney, Grant Mazzy, and that's it.
That's all that's listed.
That's it. The closest other person that you see would be the Lawrence and the Arabians.
The girls of Arabia.
Don't forget the girl. When she walks by.
Well, she was part of it. You know what I mean? So she was part of the Lawrence and the Arabians.
Now, I wonder if there's any significance there. I'd have to read up on.
Well, the song was pretty creepy.
Cross the dunes and stir the desert's heart and fill it with your blood. It is a sacred trust to fill it with your blood.
You know, I can't remember the words. And fill it with your blood. Remember the song that they were singing? That was kind of a creepy song.
But Mazzy was talking to his agent.
Yeah, that's right. Rick. Yeah, fuck you, Rick.
But I can hear
Listen
the
to this, Rick.
boy lying in the night. We need the boy's life to prove that.
Just holding the phone up. This is Osama bin Laden. Remember after he fucking did the with the little plastic gun?
Fuck you, Rick.
And the brown face.
Oh, yeah, all of them were. They were all brown face. They were all brown face.
2009, man.
Yeah.
What a great year.
Yeah, pre-innocent. Like, there was innocence. We still had innocence as far as cancel culture.
It is. And in Canada, definitely. Yeah. By 2012, it was starting to get implemented.
Yeah, man, that's... Yeah. What a fucking turn this country's taken.
So, what is your overall feeling about the movie, first of all, I think?
Well, first of all, it's my favorite kind of horror. It's that suggested, off-screen, psychological horror. You know, it's not a slasher flick. It's technically a zombie movie, but it's not like World War Z or The Walking Dead, where, you know, it's not a movie, but it's not gun porn, which is what most zombie movies are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think that what sets it apart is that minimalistic horror. It's that creative writing style that allows you to put across terrifying themes while not actually really showing anything. One of the few gripes I actually have about the film is that one scene where the zombies all walk in. It kind of pulled me out of it, because they didn't look that good.
They didn't look mad. There's no rage there, like, 28 days later.
It took some wind out of the sails of fear.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. I would say that movie is spectacular. I'll give it like a 8 out of 10, let's say.
Yeah.
The third act, though, I found kind of ran out of steam for me, where I was kind of like, oh, geez, you're almost losing the plot.
It's almost like they didn't really know where they were going to go with it. However,
it's a hard concept to explain.
It is, and it's a hard concept to explore. But remember that he does, at least I assume still does, had an idea for 2 other parts to this.
I'm hoping.
Me too.
Now, what about the author? Is the author backing this? Has he got source material on this?
Yeah, so the author was actually, so there's the author of the book, and then there's the director of the film. I believe Tony Burgess wrote the book.
Correct.
And somebody Campbell was the director.
Director Bruce McDonald.
Oh, sorry, Bruce McDonald. Yeah, I was thinking about Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead.
Speaking of almost one-room type environments.
Absolutely, for sure. Another, The Man from Earth. You seen that? No? Oh, that's one we'll review eventually. It's a film that, it's not a horror film, but it's a psychological film. All takes place in a house, just one house, and on the front porch.
Written in 1995, 276 pages.
Pontypool changes everything.
Correct. Yeah. And psychological horror thriller. So yeah, hang on, it's the second novel in the trilogy. We're starting off in the middle, baby.
Really?
That's what it says.
Because I thought Pontypool, it was Pontypool, and then Pontypool changes, and then Pontypool changes everything. I thought that's how it was.
Pontypool Changes Everything is the second novel in the Pontypool trilogy. First published in 1995.
So when was Pontypool published?
It doesn't say.
I'll have to check back in on that.
And unfortunately, Tony Burgess, is that his name?
Yeah.
He is not listed under any links on Wikipedia, so I cannot. You just got the film, my friend.
Fuck Wikipedia. They're all full of shit anyway. I fucking hate that website. I'll avoid it at all costs. I'll even tell chat sometimes when I'm using it. Like, I'll ask for some information on something.
Right.
I'll specifically tell chat, I want no references from Wikipedia on this question.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Reddit, I hear. Just put in minus Google and plus Reddit.
Yeah.
And, you've got a
Google's another... Google's censored as fuck, too.
Oh, it is.
It's totally censored.
Hey, listen, I agree. Elon Musk is not my favorite character, but what he's doing, and basically what we're all doing by paying into PayPal, is it's almost like a socialist space exploration program. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got billions of dollars being tossed towards rockets like the Kerbal Space Program with your little jelly bean characters. Definitely a good game. I had a friend to go, hey, do you want to co-op that? Like, co-play? I'm like, no. Like, I don't want to do, fucking physics. I want to play a game.
I'm here to play a game, not to...
I'll blow up the jelly bean guys, though.
Yeah. Put a couple of fucking Vickers machine guns on board, and I'll think about it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I love the movie 2009. I probably watched it, I think, the first time in about 2011, and absolutely floored by it. It felt like I was listening to like a radio program, back in the 50s.
Yeah, it's got that kind of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds kind of fly to it, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now, does the director give any credit to that?
He absolutely does. Absolutely does. And the director commentary that I was telling you about, he does. He pays homage to a few different things in the making the film. The details of the virus itself and how it works.
So those are kind of you have the emotional conversationalists who are kind of a little different than the foot dragon, zombies.
They should be, yes.
Right? They're more emotional, and they're kind of they can be enraged. They can be whimpering. They can be
right up to their last minute. All they're trying to do is tell you is they're screaming for help.
Yeah,
help me.
Yeah,
that's and they're an emotional players.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's good. It's good. So it's kind of a slightly, new twist on the zombies.
That's your job, right?
And why these zombies are like killing people. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, language was infected and they have infected words. Why does it make them homicidal? And it explains that, which was very cool. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other cool analysis in the commentary.
Well, I mean, just coming from the author itself, man, wow. I mean, that's the source material right there. Right?
Yeah.
Unlike, Game of Thrones where, sorry, I don't know the author's name.
George R.R. Martin, yeah.
Didn't he end up hating it at the end?
Well, yeah, he did, as far as I know. But the problem was they passed the source material.
Exactly.
And, it's like, how long does it take you to write a novel? The last Game of Thrones book that was published was A Dance with Dragons. And that came out, I believe it was the first year of the show. So episode 1, season 1 comes out. And within the same year, the 5th book is published, A Dance with Dragons. The show's now long finished. He still hasn't written the next book. Like the book that I read when season 1 came out. It's been, 11 years?
And he's a big old boy, isn't he?
He's getting up there. Oh, yeah. He doesn't...
Right, the diabetes.
Doesn't look like a bitch. I'm Wilford Brimley, and I have diabetes.
He was awesome, though, with the thing, man.
I got to do the cutaway on that.
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley, and I have diabetes. It hurts me to pee, and it causes me to be short with my family. And 2 weeks ago, I ran out of vanilla ice cream and struck my wife. And then I find out my wife's been dead for 6 years. Who the hell did I hit?
Wait a minute, my wife's dead.
Well, it's like Kevin O'Leary. Nobody remembers. Remember I said that he ran over those people on the boat? And
it was his wife.
No.
It was his wife. His wife was driving the boat.
No.
Oh, I'm pretty sure, man.
That's the official story.
What, you think he threw his wife under the boat?
Yeah, and then a couple other people, too.
I'm sure he can afford a good lawyer.
But anyways, I mean, now that we've got, it's funny what money can do. Anyways, so with the Game of Thrones, for instance, I never actually got to see the end of it. So you're saying by the
So you have watched it now? Because I know you're big on not getting into any show until it's all done.
I got up to season 3, and I was like, you know what? The hiatuses, there's not enough content in between.
Oh.
Yeah, how many episodes? 11?
Per season? 10.
Right. Remember back in the day, Babylon 5, you'd have like 30 episodes.
The problem with that is, though, when you have a show that's that heavy in... You have shows that need budgets that are that big. Sure, you could take that same budget, say $100 million for a 10-episode season, right? Now you spread that out over 23 episodes,
Correct. Sure,
but now the budget for each episode is, less than half of what that is. I'd rather have the quality over quantity. I mean, think of what kind of, like in 10 hours of movie making, you call that 5 movies on average. You get a lot of story into 5 movies.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you don't want the filler.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
on the other side of the coin, look at Pontypool. We've got Pontypool done in a single studio, and probably on a fairly limited budget.
Oh, that movie wouldn't have cost a lot to make.
But the story carries it. Yeah. Babylon 5 for me, for instance, what an awesome story. But there were so many episodes where even if you missed one or two, you can kind of still connect the dots. The one thing I found with the Game of Thrones, for instance, is it was just that summer hiatus. And it was complex. I mean, the plot did get a little convoluted.
Yeah, it is. It does. It's even worse in the books.
Really?
Oh yeah. There's so many. There's so many storylines that just
threads.
Absolutely, too many. Way too many. The Wheel of Time is really guilty of that. Robert Jordan was really guilty of that, writing The Wheel of Time. Like,
I read the first book.
It's an incredible series. I've finished them, and like beginning to end, I love the saga. I love the story. It's one of my favorite fantasies of all time. But that 13, 14 book series, that could have been 7 books of all killer, no filler. But you got 13 books of a lot of filler.
What was the author's name?
The pen name is Robert Jordan. His actual name was Oliver Rigney, but he wrote under the name Robert Jordan. Yeah.
See, that series reminds me a lot of David Eddings. I always saw his books on the shelves, and I was like, hey, what's this? What's this guy? But you know what? It was so daunting that there were so many books that I'm just like, I think I'll just lay off for a bit, right?
I don't blame you. It is daunting to look at. Particularly because there's a stretch of about 3 books in there that readers and fans of the books will actually call it the slog.
And the Wheel of Time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's like book 8. It's like say 7, 8, and 9. Just storylines that just really seem irrelevant and just don't push the plot forward. And
padding.
100%, yeah. Or just maybe trying to flesh out ideas that just didn't have the legs to go anywhere, but they were part of the narrative now, and so they're still in there. And I heard a lot of people, like I name my channel's called Balefire, which is a reference to the Wheel of Time. And I've had debates with other people online, different channels, about the adaptation of it into a show, and that's another episode of how I feel about the show. But a lot of people were saying is, oh, you'd need like 20 years to make the Wheel of Time, and like, no, you wouldn't. You take out, there's so much filler in those books. If you trim the fat off that, you can get some really, you can get a very, very exciting show if you just stick to them. And they've not only, I wouldn't say they put filler into the show, but they put in a few storylines that are really irking me. But it was like Game of Thrones, like you were saying, that it was kind of, there was just so much shit going on in the story. The books are even worse.
Yeah, I got to the point where, John Winter or whatever.
Jon Snow.
Yeah, I mean, then I'm like, awesome storylines, right? And I'm like, this is cool. I'm like really interested.
The world building's incredible.
Yes.
The world building is phenomenal in the Game of Thrones. Fantastic world building.
So I decided to hey, I'm going to wait to the end. And then I'm going to watch it all. Haven't got around to it. Exact same thing with Battlestar Galactica. I think I said, hey, Pat.
That show lost steam.
Battlestar.
Yeah.
But you liked it. You watched it all
I did
the way
enjoy
to the
it.
end.
I did enjoy it. I watched it all the way to the end.
Balthazar when he blows up the planet.
No, you're thinking of...
the crazy scientist guy.
Yeah. It was,
he's talking to the Cylon.
Yeah. She was like manipulating him.
I loved it.
Yeah, for sure.
I loved it. But again, that is typical of me. I never watch the end of a series. I get almost there, and then I won't watch the last. Like I Lost. I have no idea how that ended up.
The end of a series is what's going to leave, if you finish a series, the end, or even just one book, the last chapter is going to be predominantly what you think of whatever you're reading.
Bittersweet
like,
sometimes.
100%. Like, you could have a great fucking story that has a fucking flat, shitty ending. Doesn't matter how good the story was. It'll be always in your mind. That'll be the
Dungeon for me. Philip Jose Farmer. It was a collection of all these authors that kind of carried the storyline along in a stream of consciousness. But by the end, it was Frankenstein's monster on a fucking space train. After I read the 9th book, I didn't think so. I was like, fuck, really?
Oh, no, you got that far, eh?
That sucks. Yeah, I mean, but the beginning and the middle, wow, what a storyline. Yeah, like I said, I watched it on the top 10 list of movies you've probably never seen, or I think it took place in in a single room environment. Cube was on that list. Yeah. Pontypool, I believe, Cabin in the Woods. You know, even though it does expand a little further into the underdwellings of the base and stuff like that, but that's the one with the.
That was so good.
You love it.
I
want to see like.
I loved Cabin in the Woods. That was so. Everything about that movie was fucking hilarious. Like the guy was smoking pot. His pot made him immune to all the gases that they were pumping into the house. He's the only one that can hear all the voices and, you know, figure out what's going on.
But anyways, it was on that list. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a try. Yeah. I love my horror. I'm not so much splatter porn or, like you were saying, gun porn when it comes to the zombie type genre. But this movie, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is absolutely chilling. Just the setup and the fact that you never see what's outside. Everything's just audio, you know.
Totally unique. It was a lot like unique, like Blair Witch Project in that sense too. Maybe not quite as original as Blair Witch, but it was in its concept. The concept of Pontypool was great. But the thing about Pontypool that I really like is that even though there's kind of moments in it, there's no room, and I think you can get this. I think this is what makes movies that are claustrophobic so enticing. Like we were talking about, movies that take place in one place or maybe a very small number of places. There's not a lot of time for that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you know, that respite that you can always get, that breather, you know, it's just kind of, it's always there, and the tension just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds.
Now, you mentioned the Blair Witch Project. Now, one little thing about that movie. I love the movie. Loved it from the get-go. I remember my ex-wife and I, we sat down, and there were the kids beside us. It was back in the early days of the internet where they had a big fucking internet type prequel to it, or like all the found footage. It was all just manufactured. These guys thought it was real. Now, I left the theater going, yeah, that wasn't a bad movie, but I think it was about 10 years later. Look at it from the perspective of the two boys with a snuff film. Yeah. And they're deliberately leading her off into the woods, and wow, and it fits.
It does. I found it does at certain parts. For me, the theory kind of falls apart in other moments. There's other moments where I found it didn't fit, but there are moments in that movie that absolutely could feel like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, this isn't something that I came up with. It was something I think I saw on Reddit.
Because we talked about it, and I kind of went back through and watched. I didn't watch the whole thing straight through again, but I watched a bunch of scenes. Like when he loses the map.
Big one.
Yeah, that definitely seemed.
What? I threw it away. We're lost anyway. It's like, what?
Yeah. It's. I'll tell you this about that theory. It's you can't discount it. You know what I mean?
See, what I had heard is that is the original premise, and the producers were like, no, we can't do that. It's too hardcore. It's kind of like Weeds. We know Weeds is all about that.
But it's not like they even have to say. Oh, you mean like they were going to actually have that as
yes.
the? Yeah. See, that would have ruined it, because that would have taken all the the mystical, fantastical element out of it. Mm-hmm. It's like, so the witch and the ghost, none of it's real,
right?
And it was just these two guys trying to scare her. That would have been a letdown for me at the end. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, anyways, when it comes to Pontypool, very interesting. I think right from the get-go, they do have Grant Mazzy. He's talking about the cat, and I'm unsure if that is the end of the movie, kind of being played at the beginning. But that would kind of assume that we have got like a John Carpenter ending, where it's just. Absolutely nihilistic. However, Pat, I can call you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but they know my name on the channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Pat, the big thing with that is you asked me to just listen to the end credits and the people on the radio.
Yeah.
And that is very different. Very different from what I would really think the ending of the movie would be about. I don't think Mazzy saved everybody.
I think everybody fucking got wiped out. They were just the last ones to get killed.
But by other humans.
No, by the military.
Yeah, like uninfected humans.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I think they were quarantining, and then they realized that they had to destroy everything. Like have you seen The Last of Us?
What, the game?
Yeah, have you seen the show?
No.
It's very good. It's very, very good.
But you haven't seen Fallout?
I saw a bit of the first episode. Fallout's that one that's kind of comedic, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
What am I thinking of then? Yeah, I'm thinking of Borderlands.
No, it's got the dude from, I think, The Wire. I'm not sure of his name, but he ends up turning into like a ghoul. Ghouls essentially are irradiated humans that end up having a very elongated lifespan, like hundreds of years. But you look like like a mummy.
Okay.
Yeah, your nose is withered away, and so yeah, no, really good. I thought the female lead at first, I was like, oh, we can't have a female lead. Like, really? Make her gay? Make her a chick and make her gay.
It's like South Park.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it turned out really well. But again, in typical fashion, I watched like 5 episodes and then that's it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're a hard sell.
I am. And, when I took filmology or film studies.
That probably didn't help.
in university. They asked me, why are you here? I said, because I hate fucking movies. I hate them.
That's a great answer. What a great answer. Why'd you come to film school? I fucking hate movies.
They've got to be made better. There's got to be better ideas out there and so on and so forth. And my professor was like, you're the perfect person we want here.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
And I would say anybody who wants to get into type of podcasting or editing, especially if it comes to video games, do yourself a favor, go to your local university and pick up the 101 guidebook on film and cinematography. And boy, there is so much knowledge there that when it comes to your editing, you can turn it into absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, even just editing this kind of stuff and editing my own like movie trailers for some of my reviews. I use a few Kurosawa techniques when I do that.
And that would be in the book. Absolutely. Yeah. Just even the simple things of just shooting over the left shoulder, and you got to keep it kind of uniform so it doesn't feel like you're just all over the place.
Sure, and oneers, and I've made a very conscious effort to, every time I pause, like if I'm starting talking my own,
noticed.
I really try to freeze as much as I can before I collect my thoughts and then continue going.
Yeah, I've noticed. It's good.
Thanks.
You get nice, cuts. Your arms aren't moving all over.
Yeah,
the place.
so the transitions aren't choppy and blinking out from one position to another. I'm not starting here and then flipping over to here in the middle of a sentence. Yeah,
and your background's static, so definitely good.
Yeah, thanks. Well, that was your advice. Because I was always used to the microphone, man, because I've podcasting for so long. Like I'm totally comfortable in front of a mic. It's the camera that took some getting used to,
mm-hmm.
And eventually I just, I ignore it, I do way better when I pretend the camera's not there.
Yeah. So my background, like I said, I went into the university level film studies. And really it was because I was just so disenchanted with the movies. That was basically the rise of the MCU and everything was just kind of being rebooted and
nothing original.
Frustrated by it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I love movies. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You and I share a lot of the same common interests.
We do. We're both very critical of movies too. You very much so. You're a natural critic in a lot of things. There's a lot of things you like, but you're picky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's time. Time is important, and you cannot have it wasted by some shitty movie.
Absolutely. I've always made that point, too. It's like, well, that's 2 hours I'll never get back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've used that expression many times for films. It's like, fuck, what could I have been doing while I watched this piece of shit?
Hey, we had fun during the first Star Wars.
Well, Rogue One, we had a blast.
Oh, the Rogue One was incredible. Now that is awesome movie.
I don't know about the people in were sharing the theater with us,
but I remember going to. You took me to the first Star Wars, Force Awakens, and boy, I felt bad because I think all I was doing was just shitting all over the movie. Do you know how I ended up watching the rest of that series? I played the Lego games.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good endorsement.
Yeah, Space Horses.
Yeah. Oh god, it was so fucking terrible.
But Rogue One, oh my God, I saw that 5 times in the theater.
Rogue One is still the high watermark from the Disney acquisition. Ever since Lucasfilm got sold off, that is still the high watermark. In fact, it's one of my favorite Star Wars films, period.
Mm-hmm.
I put it actually right behind The Empire Strikes Back.
Absolutely.
I
That's
do.
why we're friends.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone who says that the new Star Wars is awesome, I don't know.
It has moments. It has its moments. And that ain't one of them. Yeah. But it's got its moments. There's been moments that have been really good, but nothing they've been able to string together into a full great movie. You know, in fact, some of the shows that they've put out, I mean, everything they put out recently is just dog shit. But they've had a few gems, like Andor, great show. Andor was and they're gonna do another season 2. Andor is really good.
Whatever happened to The Mandalorian?
I think it just closed it. I think they're gonna do a movie. I think they're gonna do a film. Mandalorian was really good. I enjoyed Mandalorian. Like, and I said this on our Star Wars podcast that I had with Chris. I said, like, a year ago. This is before Mandalorian, the first episode, ever came out. I said, if you were to tell me a year ago that they would make a television show for Star Wars about a Mandalorian who was also a bounty hunter, who had almost identical armor to Boba Fett, and he had a baby Yoda with him, I would have said that is the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. But it worked. It was great. I loved it. I loved it.
Well, it created a whole internet meme.